Well, if you got a dollar on just a lousy down, know that I got rhythm that could suit your budget fine.
Hi, this is Patrick with Trusty Mercantile. Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, well, welcome to you too. Trusty Mercantile is a vintage reseller. We've got a presence on Etsy. You can also find us on Instagram and Facebook, all under the abbreviation of THMercantile for Trusty Mercantile. What you're about to see is a little bit of an adjustment from a series of videos that I had already been making and already placing onto my YouTube channel. I was doing a series of unboxing breakables, which focused on the idea of ordering items from other resellers and opening them on camera to determine how they were packaged, what were the pros, what were the cons of how breakable items were shipped via UPS, US Postal Service, whatever the case may be. And I have several of those already posted. You can find them on my YouTube channel under a playlist, Unboxing Breakables. As I started editing these, however, I realized they really made a little bit more sense to be almost a haul video or even a sourcing video, because what I had started doing in looking for items to ship to me, I started sourcing material for resale in my Etsy shop or on my live YouTube channel sales, which I do on Thursday nights. As I unearthed all these different items, it was such a mixture of what was coming out, and each of them packaged individually. It still serves as a little bit of an unboxing video, but it kind of becomes a pseudo haul video because almost everything from these individual resellers were lot items that I bought as a mixed lot, job lot, whatever the case may be. And I thought it might be a little bit more interesting to turn this into a separate group of videos. So I'm doing a new introduction, which explains why my shirt is a different color than the shirt that you'll be seeing me in the rest of the video. But that doesn't really matter because the content I think is pretty interesting, and I hope you'll like the idea of kind of a behind-the-scenes look of how vintage resellers do source their materials in maybe non-traditional ways, because we're kind of in non-traditional times. At the time these were recorded, we were under a full stay-at-home order in the state of Illinois, so I didn't have a lot of other options available to find materials to resell. So this, I hope, will serve a little bit of a time capsule for a very interesting time, but also hopefully an entertaining video exploring how things were packaged, but also how you can use online resources to either augment your own personal collections or to source for resale. Hope you enjoy the video, and if you do, give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate the time you're giving to me. Again, enjoy the video. One of the areas of sourcing which may not always be at the top of everyone's mind is Instagram. There is actually a very active community on Instagram of vintage resellers. And let me tell you, those people work. Instagram it's kind of like the Wild West in regards to rules and in regards to how selling is done, as opposed to something like Etsy or eBay or Mercari or Poshmark or any of those types of platforms. Those are very structured. If you're selling through one of those platforms, there are very set fees. There's, whether you like it or you don't like it, there's a way that they do business. Instagram pretty much is a free-for-all. You can put something up for sale, and if somebody says they want to buy it, you can work with them to sell it to them. And how you do that changes depending on where you are in the platform. I have been active in some areas of Instagram in selling. I'm a member of a couple of groups that do sales. I will admit I've never been particularly successful. I try and be active on Instagram in the sense that I try and post some things, some product related, some not product related. I tend not to go too personal, which some people feel that that's what people are looking for on Instagram. So maybe that's where I'm missing out. But I have no issue that I'm not successful there. It's something I try every once in a while, and I've made a couple of sales, and that's great. But I watch a couple other sellers and I watch how much they do to be successful on Instagram, and my hats go off to them because it's a lot of work. So recently there was a sale that I participated in. I did not sell a single item, but another seller did. And then, as has been traditional, after the quote-unquote sale period is over, the sellers then can offer discounts or say, hey, anything left over, I'll sell it at 20% off or half price, whatever, buy one, get one half price, whatever again, it's totally free for all. People can do whatever they want. And in general, Instagram sells for very low pricing, and then you try and offer the discount. So what had happened in this case is I was already in the point where I knew I needed to source new material. And so there was a individual that I'd worked with before. I saw her post on her page that she was, it was like make an offer Monday or something like that. The sale had gone over the weekend, and so it was make an offer Monday, and it said go through any of her older posts and make an offer on what she had. And I went shopping, and at the prices she already had listed, they were already good. But then I said, okay, I'm packaging these together and I'm probably ordering more in one time than she maybe typically would sell, because I can see some of the activity through the sales when I participate in them. And so I made what I felt was a very reasonable offer. In a couple cases, I didn't give an item by item, but I sat there and said, okay, she wanted $5 for this, I would be willing to pay $3 for it. She wanted $10 for this, but you know what, I'm only going to pay $5. So in some cases I was going up to 50% off. I don't think I did anything more than 50%. And in other cases, I'm like, well, hell, that price is good to begin with, so I'm totally going to offer that. And then hopefully by offering that at full price, it makes some of the other discounted prices on the whole makes it more attractive. So I ended up getting this entire purchase for, I want to say, $17. And I think the original list price of everything would have been $28. So even at $28, I think I could have made some money parsing them out individually on Etsy, because Etsy can garner higher prices than you can on Instagram. And initially, I think I was going to offer a little bit less, and I didn't want to offend. So I tried to give a price that I thought was reasonable, and she was very happy to accept it, and she shipped this out to me right away, and I can't wait to open it up. It looks like it survived very nicely in the mail. I'm sure she did a good job packing it, so let's see what we got. So right on the top is the note. It's a vintage it's a postcard. I don't know if it's a vintage postcard, but it's Pride of New York postcard. Can't be too old because it's got a website on it, but it's a nice little postcard that she uses to put her note on there. Patrick, thank you so much for making an offer. Enjoy your goodies and stay safe. And then she signed it, and then she included her business card, which I will reference, I'm sure, when I'm done, because I'm sure she's going to get a shout out. But as this channel works, I go through, unpackage everything first. If there's a problem, then I don't want to shame anybody, so I don't want to name someone if there's a problem. But I can already tell it's very well packed. A lot of paper, very nicely packed into it so that the lid and everything gave some nice support. What's nice is she put padding on the side as well, so that this piece was not loose. It was actually tucked in there, so give it a little bit of extra padding. There's one piece that I realize is in here is a gift for somebody that I'm giving on the side, so I'm going to actually cover that up so that you don't see it. All right, that never happened. So each individual item, very nicely, this one happened to come loose, but packed with painter's tape, A+ for that. Again, if you've watched any of my earlier videos, you know I have some animosity on packing tape when things get so wrapped up in packing tape that the only option is to get a box cutter, because you could damage what's in there. So this was very nicely packaged in paper, and then packing tape on top of that. And then, as I would have expected, she did a really nice job putting padding on the bottom as well. A lot of people just forget that the bottom of the box is going to take just as much abuse, if not more, than everything else. And people put so much effort in padding the top of it, and maybe even the sides, they forget there needs to be something at the bottom. So she did a really nice job having all that loose paper down at the bottom, and then plus this big section is what was down there. There's a very thick section of paper that was also at the bottom, which provided some additional protection. So extremely good job packing that up. Very nicely, she's used 1, 2, 3 individual sheets of newspaper wrapped around, and then after you open it up, you still have bubble wrap with painter's tape, so it's going to be easy for me to take off, so yay. So it looks like they're probably all packaged that way. All right, this was nice. So that this big piece, although it is bubble wrapped as well, then had loose paper put in between it and the next big piece that was underneath it. So all of these pieces are all individually bubble wrapped. Everything very nicely bubble wrapped, considering you also had the paper on top of it. The only area I would say of improvement at this point would be for something like this one. This has a very deep indentation in the middle. It's virtually a bowl, even though it's square. It's virtually a bowl. There might have been some benefit of padding up the middle of it, so when this bubble wrap came around, it didn't sink into the middle. Because now anything that gets set on here is starting to pull at the edges, and it's making stress at the corners. Not enough stress that would ever, damage this. But if you start thinning anything at the corners will be where it's most vulnerable. So this also could have benefited maybe from some extra newspaper wrapped right around there, and then a layer of bubble wrap, something that would have kept a protective layer, on the corners, because those are going to be what gets damaged. But it looks like it survives, definitely in one piece. So it's a Georges Briard glass plate. I do not believe there was any damage in shipping, but I do believe this edge is not the way it's supposed to be. All of the other edges are curved, and this one is flat. Oddly though, there's no sharp edge to it, so maybe that was done in production and they filed it down. I don't know. I've never had this piece before, but it is designed to serve food. The benefit is there's no cracks and there's nothing, I can rub my finger across it without an issue. So I don't have a problem reselling this. I will just have to disclose that as a possible manufacturing defect or as damage. And it looks there, I do feel a little bit of a different thing in the back. So it looks like it might have been a chip. It's just it's a very clean chip. I give that credit. And probably something she wouldn't have even noticed, because I'm just being like super anal about it, because that's what these videos are for. So I'm a little disappointed, but I also will take totally within everything with a grain of salt. I know what I paid for all these pieces, and this, even with the damage, I can probably sell for almost near what I paid for the entire shipment. Maybe not with the shipping included, but I can probably get 15 to 20 bucks for this, even with this weird off-kilter corner. So this is a really nice piece. Georges Briard is a really nice name. And those are the types of things, if you're a reseller, Georges Briard is a name people will know, and it's a name people will search for. And so it's nice to be able to do something like that, like this on Etsy, because people will find it. Where if it were an unknown piece of glass, it's harder for people to find it, and it's harder then to resell. So that was something I was very happy to add on to. Even though I knew it was going to add to the overall shipping cost, I felt I'd be able to make some money to recoup that. This one, as I should have started before I started it, this one is the same thing. This is a plate with a slightly raised edge. This has the bubble wrap folded to the outside. Had it been folded to the inside, it would have given a little bit more protection into the middle. so that if anything had come smashing against the plate, it would have helped protect the rim. It's very well packaged. That just would have made it slightly more packaged without any additional material or any additional effort. Just folding it into the shallowest part will help provide that extra protection for anything that's going to push down, because pushing down on an edge is how that's going to get snapped or cracked. She had exceptionally good photographs on her site. That this piece, she was very upfront that there were some areas where the gold was worn, but she had taken photographs that included the back stamp, and it's in absolutely beautiful condition. You probably can't tell it because it's facing a dark back, but I can see it with the lights. It is translucent, so this is bone china. Not huge amounts of money, but this will again recoup what I paid, including the shipping, and start paying for some of the other pieces as well. This is what started the order. I wanted this plate. This happens to be another Georges Briard. It is signed on the back. Interestingly enough, it's only signed Georges Briard. There's no other stamp at all. It's the hot air balloon pattern. What the seller may not have realized, but it was available, and I hate to point this out because this is a very good experience, and I know this woman, and I love you, and I thank you for not having done your research, because this plate is currently listed on either Etsy or eBay for $70, 70. Now, granted, it's listed. It hasn't sold that much. And the minute I liked it, I ended up getting an offer from the seller to buy it for $50 plus shipping. And if you go into WorthPoint to see sold patterns, these dinner plates are very rare. This pattern occurs not a lot, but it's fairly common as a cake plate, which has a pedestal to it. So the pictures are misleading because when you see this picture, a lot of them look like this, but then they take an angled shot and you suddenly see it's the cake plate. It takes a while to find the dinner plate as the dinner plate, not as the cake plate. And when you find them, they were regularly selling for $40 to $50 each. So, yay. The sale of this one item will pay for this entire shipment. So this was what triggered me to make an offer and get everything else to go along with it. Everything will make me money. This will make me the most money. And I am thrilled to see, first of all, it's an absolutely gorgeous plate, but it's also in absolutely gorgeous condition. I scoured the photographs that she posted of it and looked like it was in perfect shape. And it was, and she shipped it, packaged it very well, and it continues to be in perfect shape. So I am very, very happy. This was another piece that had she not photographed so many different angles of it, including the back stamp. She photographed the back stamp. It is Sweet Violets by Queen Anne. It's English porcelain. This is, again, if you do a little bit of research, this one piece, it's the open sugar bowl. And from what I can tell, it is designed to be an open sugar bowl because it's got the pattern on the inside. If it were a covered sugar bowl, it wouldn't have the gold trim because the gold trim would get chipped off by the lid and it wouldn't be painted on the inside. So this is designed to be a sugar bowl. It's an open sugar bowl. It's British, so that's not a surprising thing. And this by itself, without its creamer, is selling for $20 to $30 regularly, and there aren't that many examples for sale right now. So this was another piece that I think literally I was able to pick up for only a few bucks, that I'll be able to, when I sell this, make a good amount of money that, again, will help pay for this entire shipment just with this one little piece. And it's very sweet. It's very attractive. Even if you don't use it as a sugar bowl, it's a very attractive little dish. Aren't these cute? It's a little Santa clear glass bowl. I don't know if once upon a time he would have had a lid. The marking on the bottom, it just says that he's USA. I don't know if he would have had a top. There's a little bit of a lip to the top, so there's no thread, so I don't think it would have had a screw top to him. But I'm thinking maybe he held candy and he's got a very flat top. Like maybe it just had a label on the top to hold the candy in. These I think are just going to be really cute to sell. I got them, they were $1.50 each. So I got them to be able to resell. Again, I probably sell them for $4 or $5. I don't have to sell them for a lot of money. They can be little crafting items. Somebody could put candy in them just to set out. If somebody's really crafty, it would probably not take much to create like a little lid that you could then put a red Santa hat on top of and fill it with red and white candy. Whatever the case, for $1.50 each, it may not have been worth it had this been all I wanted, because I would have paid $3 for these, but then plus I would have paid another probably $8 in shipping. And so suddenly if I'm $11 in, that's not the best. I'm probably not going to be able to make a lot of money. But because I included these, whoops, and they survive. I included these along with everything else, I can divide out the cost of the overall freight so that each item doesn't have more than a few dollars added on to it. And for something like this, I can really simplify it and say, okay, well, let's add $1 on each for shipping. So these were each $2.50, and then put the rest of it on the pieces that I know are going to get more value, so that I don't want to handcuff myself to say, oh, these cost me $5 each, so I must sell them for 10. Maybe I can get 10, but I doubt it. So I don't want to try and price things too high when if I only have to put a couple dollars on this, I know this can absorb it because I can sell it for $50. So those are all the kind of the math games you have to do. But the overall, comment behind all of this is Instagram is a great place to source. And if you find the right sellers, you're going to have a great experience. And this seller is, it's a very pale card, so I don't know if you're able to see it. It's Vita's Vintage. V as in Victor, I-T-A-S. That's like actually apostrophe S, but on Instagram it's just V-I-T-A-S Vintage. So Vita's Vintage. She's on Etsy. Oh, I didn't know that. She's on Etsy at EnviroVita, E-N-V-I-R-O-V-I-T-A. She's also on Mercari, Vita's Vintage. And she's on eBay as Sweet Thang. So S-W-E-E-T-T-H-A-N-N-N-G. Sweet Thang. So that is Vita of Vita's Vintage. Thank you, Vita. You packaged this beautifully, and I can't wait to be able to relist it and sell it. These might actually sell in my live YouTube video sales, because they like just little small items like that I think would do well. But these will all get listed on my Etsy shop, and it definitely was a great source through Instagram. Take in consideration, look at Instagram, whether you're a reseller or you're buying for yourself, there's always going to be some great deals to be found, because it's not as well traversed as some of the other outlets, because people don't think Instagram is designed for selling. So don't forget Instagram when you're doing your shopping. Whether you're a reseller or you're just looking for a gift for yourself or for somebody else, Instagram is not as well tracked as some of the others. You can't do easy searching. You can use hashtags, but that can be sometimes very difficult. Look for the sales, look for some of the vendors, look for the people that you like and see what they participate in. They'll start participating in sales. They'll then hashtag those sales with other vendors, and you'll find other people that are selling. It's a great place. I referred to it as the Wild West at the beginning, but I didn't mean that in a pejorative way. It's an opportunity, whether you're reselling or you're getting something for yourself, to get some great merchandise at really good prices. And even though Vita might be kicking herself that she might have missed one or two things of opportunity, the end of the day, Vita made the money that she needed to make, and she's going on and she's going to purchase more items that she'll be able to sell as well. Resellers sell to resellers all the time, and Instagram is a really great way to support that. And I hope you enjoyed it as part of the shipping packing video as well. So again, this is Patrick with Trusty Huckster Mercantile. Find me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Etsy under THMercantile, standing for Trusty Huckster Mercantile. Thank you so much for your time and putting your trust into Trusty Huckster. Bye-bye.
Sure was nice to know you. Oh, maybe I'll catch you on the New York train. Or maybe I'll never see your face again.